Hello and welcome back. I'll be encasing opals today here on the Jasa channel. And so I won't be using natural opals as those won't be compatible with the hot glass. Instead, I'll be using synthetic laboratory created opals. But I need to start off with my 12mm heavy wall tube first. I'm just prepping the end of it, and I'm going to flatten it a little bit to better shape the opal. And then I'll drop it in with my tweezers. I'll hold it down towards the floor and begin to apply a lot of heat. I'm going to start to contract the glass up and around the opal. And then I'll suck a little bit of air out of the tube, and that will completely pull the glass over the opal. And then I'll switch back and forth between a couple of punties to start to remove some of that excess glass. So the opal is actually a very interesting gem. It is very similar to glass, especially quartz. It contains molecules of silica and oxygen. However, it can have a large amount of water trapped inside, all the way up to about 20% by weight. And so from that and the natural forming process, they would most likely crumble or even explode with these extreme temperatures. And so these are Gilson opals. They're created in a lab, and so they can control the conditions of how they form. So they come in a variety of colors. And now I've never actually worked with opals before. This is my first batch here. I went with the white and black, medium-sized polished opal. And so they're kind of small, and the shape is a little bit irregular, but they do flash a lot of nice color, like a rainbow effect. And so I went with a close-up here, and you can really see the opal once the glass forms up a nice sphere around it. It's similar to a marble with the opal in the middle, and this is a natural lens. So it magnifies the opal from all directions. And now this itself isn't a marble per se, it's just the preparation step, getting it encased in some borosilicate glass. This will get it ready to be melted into some other piece of glass, like in a larger marble or maybe even in a ring, like from last episode. I was complaining a little bit about not having an actual gem to fit the ring. I'm wearing one now, which has blue cobalt. So this would be the perfect gem to fit in there, because unfortunately, there's not a lot of things that can be encased. At these very high temperatures, most natural gems will begin to break apart or begin to discolor very quickly. And so I gathered up some clear glass to make a marble, and I'm attaching one of the white opals right now. I'm not going to push the opal into it. Instead, I'm just going to attach it very softly and then melt the rest of it in with the flame. And that way I don't trap any air bubbles. I have a very lean attachment and then just melt the rest of it in. Also, I put it on the back side of the marble. That way it would have a very high magnification from the front. But looking at it from the back, it will just look like its normal size. So I'm backing it with some heavy blue leprechaun from Troutman Art Glass. This darker backing, I think, will be a good contrast for the white opal. It should make it really show a lot better. And then on the next marble I'll do, it'll be a white backing for the black opal. And so I'm rotating this marble mostly level. This is helping it round out, but I'm having a little trouble with that backing color. It's a little bit stiff. This is a multi-marble mold here. It's not really required to get started in marble making. I kind of recommend to do them a bit by hand and gravity first, but you probably want to shape about 90% or so of the marble first by hand, and then go into the marble mold to finish it off. If you go in too quickly with a delicate implosion or some nice line work, you might end up distorting some of the lines. And so even though this is my first attempt with opals, I have encased other things before. Glass frit can work out pretty well, but I've done different kind of metals too in order to make an electromagnet. I've even fully encased some precious metals, gold and silver. Those were the most interesting. I put them in the tube as thin wires and started to heat up the outside of the tubing. And even though those metals have a melting point that is slightly higher than the glass, they seem to almost instantly just melt and contract into little metallic balls before the glass has even begun to become molten. And so you might be asking, how can something on the inside, especially with the higher melting point, melt before the outside does? And I believe that has to do with the thermal conductivity. Both of those metals, especially silver, are highly thermally conductive. I believe it's somewhere around 100 to 200 times greater than the glass. Glass is actually considered to be an insulator since it's a terrible conductor. But it's also one of the least reactive materials, so it doesn't break down very easily, it doesn't contaminate things. And that's why it's great to use for drinks and food, except for crystal or lead glass. That can actually contaminate a drink with lead if it's stored in there too long. But now I'm working on the black opal here. It's going to be the second marble. And unfortunately, I was noticing during the process, it looks like my black opals, some of them got a bit cloudy. And that's a common problem I've heard before that can happen to these opals. It's usually contributed to a dirty opal, like you've touched it with your fingers or got dust on it. But I made sure to clean these pretty well, and I haven't really handled them with my hands. So I'm not really sure what caused it. And now the white opals actually look pretty good. I kind of feel like I overheated the black opals. I'm not sure if that's possible, but it is still producing some color, a lot of red and greens, so it's not too bad. I know I say this quite often, but I did have some fun with this one. Like, I want to challenge myself with some larger, better opals and start incorporating them into my work a little bit. I really like the white variety, but I'm thinking of some better shapes. The round, maybe the trillion, and then some small spheres. Those ones are pretty expensive though. Their smallest 3mm sphere are $6 each. And so the encasements do look pretty good. I had some trouble with a couple of small air bubbles. My solution was to face the side with the air bubble towards the back and the nicer side of the opal towards the front. I'll be trying this project again with some larger, better opals. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Also, don't forget to share this one on your favorite social network. Thank you for checking out this episode on opals. This is Matt Jasa reminding you to stay melty.